Friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hi there, welcome back.
So we have an executive order here, and the thing I want to get across is that we have so many times seen escalations and then things calm down. Right? Escalations, things calm down. Looks like we're heading for WW3 and things calm down. But certain things get put into place. Again, new legislations come through and they stay there.
Yeah, I mean, why do they come through and then they just stay there, like almost as if they might use them?
Think about, what happened after 9/11. We got Homeland Security. We had the Patriot Act. We've had all these things just go on and on. Yeah, how many of us can remember pre-9/11 the fact that we weren't necessarily thinking that every word we were saying was being listened to? We thought that people had to actually go get a search warrant or something along those lines to actually start to monitor people. But in this world now, everybody is monitored 24/7, 365. Everybody. Everybody from little kids to grandma.
And, if we're not being monitored by some machine, heck, we're monitoring each other and tattling on each other.
Yeah, as we've seen. So, we do have a national emergency declared today by JB. And so you see here this executive order on blocking property with respect to specified harmful foreign activities of the government of the Russian Federation. And, it goes on and on and on. And what hit me, because I read the whole thing, again, it's all about if somebody gets branded as a terrorist or as somebody that is perhaps colluding in some way, shape, or form with a foreign entity, in this case, particularly Russia, all their assets could be seized. It's everything of theirs could be seized. Boom, in the name of national security. All property and interest in property that are in the U.S. and hereafter come within the U.S. or that are or hereafter come within the possession or control of any United States person of the following persons are blocked, may not be transferred. Any person determined by the Secretary of Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State, and it goes on and on and on. And even not necessarily the U.S., but countries of vital national security to the U.S., and it goes on and on and on. So basically, kind of what they're amounting to is like if there's any little reason at all, and maybe even if there is no reason, you could still have your property seized. You could still have all your assets locked up. You could still be, there's no buying, selling, or trading, right? Now, I go back to this one. This is, going back to 2017. And this was blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. And then this is from the previous administration. We also saw, similar regards in concern with other countries that can be designated as terrorist countries. Basically what it is the legislation stays into play. So you got to wonder, if you make any comments at all, questioning anything at all, is it going to get to the point that anything that you own can be taken if you show any sort of inclination that is, contrary to whatever administration is in effect at the moment?
It looks like it's coming to that. The writing is on the wall.
And again, wasn't the whole idea a government of the people, for the people, by the people? Well, that has gone by the wayside. That doesn't exist on this planet. And I think most of us recognize that. It's a nice idea, but it's not what we have, not even slightly. And there really is a buildup going on. Russian military vehicles with invasion stripes descend on Ukrainian border. And, tons of equipment going in. More than 100,000 Russian troops in assault vehicles painted with invasion stripes were headed to the Ukrainian border on Wednesday, intensifying fears of war between neighboring nations. The advanced force includes 1,300 battle tanks, 1,300 artillery and mortar units, 3,700 drones, 380 multiple launch rocket systems, according to documents leaked. Yeah, the buildup is for real, and it's really ramping up. And the war of words and the tit for tat keeps going on. And I'm going to jump over to this one before we go to the other one. As we see, Moscow warns of consequences as U.S. slaps new sanctions. There was a statement out by JB today. New sanctions on Russia targeting debt, expelling diplomats. Never a good thing, really. It's so interesting how we get whiplash over, okay, who is the boogeyman this time? There's always a boogeyman. Always. And, we've heard from some sources that when all these boogeymen are gone, it'll be asteroids and it'll be aliens, right? Doesn't mean that there's not aliens, because there are. But it's utilizing the boogeyman. And Russia deploys Su-34 jets to the Black Sea region. U.S. not to send its warships there. Now, remember, the U.S. was going to send in warships into the Black Sea. And then that apparently is not the case from what we've gotten out of Turkey. And I said to Cindy, holy crap, look at this. Do you think this will be a reality at some point in time? And over in Donetsk, they got these giant robots. Can you imagine when we see stuff like that really happening in reality?
Yeah, I do feel in our lifetime we are going to see stuff like that that's real.
Yeah, well, these are sculptures of transformers and other machines that are around the city, but is it a foreshadowing of what's to come? I mean, we just talked about the police actually utilizing and deploying those dog drones, and we saw dog drones that were damn big, the size of tanks in Vegas. Interesting times we have going on for sure. And we see that we have 150 what appear to be Turkish special forces, service members, arriving in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. Interesting. Turkey has said they won't pick a side in this, but are they? And Turkey is a wild card, as we said before. Erdogan views himself as the emperor of a new caliphate. He sees himself as being the one that's going to unify the Islamic world. And, perhaps will use his NATO, quote-unquote, allies, even while he's been buying a lot of military equipment from Russia, China. He's got his own agenda. And this is what we have. We do have the puppet masters at the very top, and they're controlling these beings, these people that have a lot of ego. And, they all gotta inflate that ego, that pomp, that circumstance, great as this, great as that, president for life.
Oh, yeah, that's the most important thing for them is that ego.
It is, but they have their own agendas too, and they like to stoke that ego. And this is a new flying car too. That's the thing. I think we're going to be just seeing so much technology. It's going to blow our minds. I think people are seeing it now. You're actually seeing it out there unofficially right now, as we've seen so many friends citing odd-looking planes and all sorts of weird things. But yeah, the United States Air Force has big plans for the Hexa flying car. Could be used for surveillance. Single soldier can use it as a car that flies. Isn't that cool? It is kind of cool, but let's hope that we get past this period of time and start utilizing things for peaceful reasons.
I know. I want to really enjoy life. I don't want to always be worried about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, exactly. First drone strike on U.S. base in Iraq as Iranian proxies up the attacks on U.S. and Israeli targets. as we've said, there is really a covert war that's been well underway for a very long time. The wars just never end. They just never end. And here we see the Natanz blast wrecked more than half its enrichment plan. As Israel has said, Iran will never achieve nuclear weapons, even though Israel has something called the Samson option, which we've talked about. And, they do, even though they officially don't acknowledge it, they do have them and would use them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as we've talked about, the hypocrisy of everything in this world, that is just, it's incredible, the hypocrisy. It's almost laughable at times.
It is, and once you're an awakened being, you can look back at the things that you used to believe in, and then you start to question, like, how can my friends still believe this stuff, but you have to remember we were all there once. But now that you're awake, boy, is it clear.
But I think a lot of people might have inclinations and inklings that things aren't right, but they don't want to have their paradigm destroyed. Mm-hmm. So, they go ahead kind of wanting to believe that this is a black and white world, and that, I'm behind this party, so, it's the other party's fault. Mm-hmm. Not wanting to, and you could change party to country, well, they're the bad guys, not us. Mm-hmm. No, our side doesn't do anything wrong. Yet, look at the leadership around the globe. Yeah. What's the leadership around the globe doing for humanity, for the planet, for everything that's alive on this planet?
Yeah, don't just stop, locally. Look around the planet and understand that things just don't make any sense the way that they're going. If beings that are in charge cared for this planet and cared for the other beings on it, it wouldn't be run this way.
No, it's just obvious. You get to a certain point and then, you're like, why can't other people see this? And unfortunately, we don't have 90% of the planet awoke. Not even close. Most are still sleepwalking like zombies, as, so much of the zombie movies are alluding to the fact that the majority of the population is sleepwalking. And if certain programs keep going on, perhaps you won't be able to wake up.
Right.
The other ones, it'll be impossible to wake them up because they just won't have the ability to wake up anymore.
No, they won't. That's going to be a sad day.
But we do thank you guys for being part of this family. Thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Stay prepared. Have a plan for whatever may come. Keep trying to get out of this system. Keep trying to get self-sufficiency as best as you can. It can be done, and it can be done even in smaller spaces, which we're hoping we'll be able to start showing you guys if things work out well. And we'll be able to go down a new path to share with you guys a little bit too as we keep going on with this path.
Yes, indeed.
So guys, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.